I've read a book.
Ooh, what book did you read?
It's another bizarro one.
I think the last two you'd read were Help, a Bear is Eating Me.
Yeah, which was
And-
average, and it was one called Ape Shit that was
That's
just
it, which was...
it was bizarre, but somewhat moreish when you're reading it because you're just like, well, what's the next weird thing that's going to happen?
Yeah. It's... From our conversations about Bizarro, it is basically just people being like, how weird can I be? Or some of them seem to be, how weird can I be? And just keep going.
Yeah,
And then, like, I think you've described it to me as it's a concept, and then it's like, no, it's the concept. So, like, Help, a Bear is Eating Me is someone went, can I write a story about a man being eaten by a bear? Yes, here it is.
yeah. So I have brought one. I couldn't get it on Kindle or anything, which is the first time there was one that I couldn't get on Kindle.
Yeah.
So I've brought the paperback of this one. I'm gonna, if I can find it, I'm gonna tell you the concept because this will exactly prove what I mean when I say it's a concept first type of thing. So let me just give you an example if I can find it. There once was an odd reclusive little man who is in love with his house. He loved his house, not in the way that normal people love their homes. His was a more intimate love, like the love between two humans. He loved his house so much that he asked it to marry him, and he believed that his house happily replied with a yes. Unfortunately, their love was to be torn apart the day before their wedding, on the day of the Great House Holocaust. On this day, every house in the world collapsed for no explainable reason. It was as if they killed themselves and took many of their occupants with them. Distraught and despairing over the death of his fiancée, this man must go on a quest to find out what happened to his beloved home.
Just why have that or not the subplot? Why does the main plot seem to be a man loves his house? Like the house Holocaust bit, apart from being maybe a bad choice of words that they chose there, like a house genocide would have kind of made sense. But like, why is that not the main plot? Why does it need a guy who wants to fuck his house?
I don't know.
Do you
see what I mean when it's like books? It's concept?
Yeah.
Like that. So
like it's not a metaphor.
Nah, it's not. To be fair, the comic that we're going to talk about later almost would fit.
I'm going to argue with you and say it doesn't. So
I'd say it was concept first.
I don't think it is.
Right. Anyway, so the book. So I've now got into this habit of when I go on holiday, I take a bizarro with me. I took The Sorrow King by Andersen Prunty, which is about a small rural town in, I want to say Ohio.
I don't think people care if you get the place wrong.
Amanda will, because she lives in Ohio.
I don't think she'll care if you get the place wrong.
I think it's Ohio. It's hard. There's not a lot of information about it online, so it's hard. Yeah, it is. I found it. Ohio. There we go. So it's a small town in Ohio called Gethsemane, if you've heard of that, Amanda. I don't know. It's about children have started to commit suicide, and the news is reporting on it as if it's this suicide virus that's spreading through the school. Okay. When I say children, it's like, I think the youngest is about 12, but it's predominantly teenagers. But they're all at school, so they all go to this school, and the main character is this guy called Stephen, and he's just like, he's been living in Ohio for the last couple of years. About 2 years ago, his mum died. He's now had to move in with his father. He's just kind of like struggling. His father is also struggling in his own ways. And Stephen meets this girl called Elise. Now, they meet because Stephen has just taken to just walking the streets at night. And he sees her while doing that at some point. And they eventually get to talking. And there's this place called the Obscura, which is all explained in the book. It's just weird. So it starts with Stephen waking up from a dream, and he writes down a name. He writes down 4 names, and the first 3 are kids that have already killed themselves, and then the 4th is a kid that has killed himself that night. So Stephen's like, how could I have known this? And it's about how his dreams and this girl all tie into what's going on, why the kids are all doing it, how this all happened. It's called The Sorrow King. That might give you a hint as to what is going on. It's sort of like Bizarro tries to meet horror.
Yeah, because it almost so far the concept doesn't sound that Bizarro to me.
No, in all honesty, this is probably like the least Bizarro of the Bizarro books that I've read.
Yeah.
But in like the reviews and stuff on Goodreads of it, it is still described as a Bizarro book. Okay. But yeah, it is interesting. There are like a couple of moments that are bizarre. This is the way to describe it. It's like a horror movie with Bizarro, a horror story with Bizarro elements in it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the Sorrow King is a thing, and it was okay. It wasn't like a Moorish read because it's dark.
Yeah.
And somewhat depressing. And probably not like the best book to be reading on holiday.
No, yeah, like, it's a weird one for you to have chosen.
Picture me just sat by the pool while this couple are necking in a jacuzzi and I'm there reading my Bizarro.
Who do you think the Sorrow King is?
Yeah, where did he come from? And it's just like it wasn't bad. It just 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never expecting you to come with a Bizarro book and go 5 out of 5.
It'd be amazing if that happened, though, wouldn't it?
But I don't think it would, because I feel like the moment it got 5 out of 5, we'd look into it and it'd be like, a lot of people are saying this isn't a Bizarro book. Like, I don't know, the whole and I don't want to diss the whole concept that I haven't even fucking read, but from what I have heard from Liam's description of Bizarro, it just sounds to me like the concept itself is almost antithesis to getting high ratings and being a good book.
Yeah, it's like cult cinema. It's like the book version of cult cinema, right?
Yeah,
because you know, if there's not really many cult films that you'd watch and be like, oh, that's a 5 out of 5, because part of the appeal is that
it's not
great. Yeah, and it's also it's very fringe, so it's going to be stuff that might appeal to like a real small subset of people, but most are just going to be like, Like, my goal with a Bizarro book is to find one that I genuinely think you'd enjoy, that I can be like, right, read this, because it's probably...
Mate, silly you. I'm never going to read any books that you recommend me ever again.
No, I've got to rectify this wrong. But now I'm so aware that it needs to be like a genuinely amazing book.
I won't read one again unless you have reread it recently, I think is my rule.
Yeah, and that's a good rule to have.
Because that was the issue with American Psycho, was you were like, I haven't read this since I was a kid,
and
so
Fluke.
I don't know. Yeah.
Which, you know, obviously weren't at the same levels, but yeah.
No.
But equally, right...
Fluke was great compared to American Psycho.
To be fair, American Psycho wasn't entirely me, it was also part of me being like, this is a book that is highly regarded.
Oh, yeah, well, people are wrong.
But yeah, so... That's my goal. I will hopefully one day find a Bizarro book, but equally, I'm not reading a lot of them because I'm distracted with my secret projects that I'm working on.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah.